Hi, this is Lorraine, and if you'll give me a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. So, after I did my last video, I had a very strong message come in that I wrote down that I want to share with you first. Purpose ignites will. Will inspires direction. Direction is determined by intention. This is path and purpose. Successful completion of path and purpose is a result of alignment with unity, vibration, and frequency. That came in very clear, and it was just one of those things. There was another thing that came in very clear like that, but it kept coming in the evening while I was sleeping. I'm sorry, I woke up really early this morning so I could get this video done before construction started, and clearly I didn't make it. But the other one message that came in was, I am everything, everywhere, and nowhere. I permeate all things, unified always, never apart. And that message just coming in every night until I wrote it down. And so that message became one of my affirmations, and and it actually is my inspiration in understanding who I am and connecting with that source energy, but also accepting my own internal divinity. Like repeating that was almost like a mantra that kept reaffirming what I already knew but needed to remember. And so this, I feel, is another one of those things, because once we understand our inner divinity, our empowerment on our path and purpose becomes even more, I want to say powerful, I want to say directed. I'm feeling focused, influential, okay? Because even before, even when my awakening began, I was on my path and purpose. I was seeking, finding, and learning what I needed to empower myself on my path and purpose. So as I become more focused and understanding my inner divinity, my inner connectedness to all things, I start to have a clearer understanding of my path and purpose, and it gives me a greater direction, a greater drive. And as that drive becomes more focused, so does my intention, because my intention overall is to fulfill my path and purpose, right? And so I'm always seeking information to help guide me on what that is, and it changes, but at the root, I'm meant to transition and help move Mother Earth back into balance, okay? Bring clarity on this world. Bring the divine source, path, purpose, and intention for this world back to this world, right? So that is the root. But on that journey, there are many things that will be asked of me, many different paths I will take as I walk that primary path, okay? And we all have a path and purpose. And so we all seek, find, and walk that path and purpose. And so that's why that's so important to me. Because even though that message of I'm everything, everywhere, and nowhere, I permeate all things, unified always, never apart, even though that came to me in 2016. It's still something that's very real, very resonant with me, and that I use. Okay, and so this here about path and purpose is another thing that I will use as I drive forward on path and purpose. And I'm sure even more information will come to build on that. But right now in this moment, it was very clear of my my need to focus my intention and drive forward on my path and purpose. And that also tells me that I'm being redirected, okay? But also clarity, clear, centered, and balanced energy to receive and project energy, okay? And read it properly. Very important items to consider or think about as it relates to you, okay? The only other thing that came in this week was when I was out for my run yesterday, every now and then I'm drawn to the sun and to connect, and it's always either at sunrise or dusk. That's the most powerful time. The window is very wide. It's very open at those times for me, and probably for everybody. And so I stopped and I started looking at the sun and connecting, and of course, you know, almost immediately it opens into a black hole or a singularity, a conduit, a gateway. Okay, I see it, it's open. And then 3 other wormholes, I'll say, open up around it. So that's, with the sun, that's 4 wormholes. And so, sorry, I had to stop for a minute. But the vision was, or what I was seeing in front of me was the sun opened up, became a wormhole, and then there were 3 other wormholes. And then what came through the wormholes were a bear, a hawk, and a bison. And the bear definitely represented that mother instinct, that protective instinct. It represented strength, and it represented I don't want to say a ferocity, even though that's kind of what I feel, but I think ferocity is too harsh of a term. It's more of a assertiveness. It was the energy that was coming through. Then the hawk definitely represented seeing things from a higher perspective, and so birds often represent seeing things from a higher perspective. They also represent messengers or messages, but with the hawk specifically, it was also this vision, this accuracy in vision. So hawks from a very high altitude can see their prey on the ground, right? And so there is this, so this is going to date me, but almost this bionic vision. You know, I'm seeing actually in the $6 Million Man, and just honing in that vision and the accuracy of that, pinpointing what you're directing that sight to. And then, so higher perspective, messages, as well as accuracy in vision. And then the bison, always, I think it's the Lakota or the Sioux, It makes me think of the plains. It makes me think of, obviously, Yellowstone. But there is something in the Native American legend, folklore, beliefs, okay? I don't like to say legend and folklore because you could say the same thing about the Bible, but I do believe we're living through Revelation in the Bible right now, that the book of Revelation. And so I do believe whatever prophecies that the Native American have, because they're so deeply rooted in the earth, and then also because they follow the oral tradition, so nobody can come in and rewrite what's being told. They tell the same story over and over, and I think that preserves the accuracy and the intention of those prophecies. And so there's a belief or a story or a legend or tradition, a prophecy, that when the bison come back, that's when the land will come alive again, right? And I'll find it and I'll put it in the description, because I know I've talked about that before and found articles about that. But to me, it's just another sign that the world is changing and it's coming back. And I just have to say, I know this message, they don't want this message out. They don't want hope. And so I'm going to continue on with what I experienced yesterday. And so on top of the wormholes opening up, on top of the vision of the bear, the hawk, and the bison, I also saw a swan. And so swans are, to me, are very much about love and commitment, and commitment to a person, a thing, but fully committed to that thing, unequivocally, without question. And so as I was looking at it, I'm like, wow, that looks like the swan I saw in that video. So there was a swan, I was watching a video on social media, who was taken away from its partner and healed. I guess maybe it had an issue with its wing or something, so some type of conservancy or organization helped it heal, and then 2 weeks later brought it back to the pond or wherever it resided, and its partner was waiting for it. And as soon as they put it in the water, the wings kind of came back and up, and I'm sure I can get a snapshot of it and put it in the in a picture-in-picture. But the wings came up, and you could see the mate coming towards it. The wings were up in this certain position that you could see from behind, and I was like, wow. And it kind of made a heart, but it was very beautiful and elegant as they came together. But when I was looking at the sun, I saw that vision of just the one wounded swan coming swimming towards its mate, and I saw it from the back, and it took me a while to figure out what I was seeing, because I didn't see a swan. I saw a shape that was very reminiscent of that swan. And as it became clearer, I could see the wings, I could see the body, and then it started to shift, and there were more angles, I guess you would say, more detail, so that I could see it was the swan. And so just to be clear, the visions the black holes represented themselves as black, right? With rings around them. And so these visions of the animals were black like that, but they had a magenta outlines that could delineate shape, structure, and details in what I was seeing. And then I was looking at the sun, and then it started radiating. So there was the sun, and then it had concentric circles, like when people talk about you drop a pebble in a pond, and it creates those concentric circles, and they use that a lot when they're talking about, in my experience, They use that in a metaphor when they're talking about constructive interference and deconstructive interference. And so that's exactly what I saw. The sun turned into this, it looked like someone had dropped a pebble in the middle of the sun, and that there were these waves of energy coming off of it, and there were many waves of energy coming off it. So it was like a bunch of little waves expanding, and then they got broader and they got more powerful, and I was like, whoa, that is crazy. And so, excuse me, then I started seeing it expand through the solar system. It was very strong and very profound. The colors would be yellow, and then it kind of would fade into an orange. So each wave had that kind of rainbow effect from yellow to orange, each wave, okay, going out away from the sun. And it was very powerful. Very powerful. And so as the sun went down, it went behind some trees and some buildings, but I could still see the waves. And so normally once the sun disappears, it just, everything starts to kind of fade. But this time I could still see all the manifestations around the sun. And as I was walking away, I could still see the black hole. So no matter where I was looking, I could still see the black hole, but it had a lime green center, and then it had a magenta outline. And so maybe it was the chartreuse. I want to say not lime green. I want to say chartreuse center, and then a magenta outline. Okay. And so the very strong message that came in was this temptation, I call temptation, this low vibration, high frequency energy was open the gateways to receive this unbalanced energy back to itself. Okay, so just the same way I work on my path and purpose towards fulfilling that path and purpose, but also understanding my inner divinity on my journey back to the divine, back to source energy, right? Reconciling duality and returning to the source, okay? That is all of our path and purpose, and we'll all eventually end up there. But this this energy that I'll call temptation, this low vibration but high frequency energy that is just merely here to tempt us. We determine, okay, we're tempted with alcohol, we're tempted with drugs, we're tempted with greed, okay? What are we going to do? Are we going to have one drink? Are we going to drink the whole bottle? Are we going to do that drug? Are we going to do it to excess where it's harmful to ourselves and others? Are we going to engage greed and work towards money at any cost, at any expense, to anybody, right? To the point of harming others, harming the earth, okay? Are we going to do that? Or will we accept that what we have is enough, you know? Will we marginalize others for more? Okay, more of anything. Will we harm others or the earth for more of anything, right? This energy gives you that option. It tempts you. And it's our onus to show restraint, okay? And honor ourselves and honor the world around us, honor the people around us. That is part of our journey, okay? And so this energy of temptation has come to remove those energies that have not fulfilled the requirements necessary to transcend to this higher level of vibration. Okay, that's all it's doing. It's retrieving those energies who have not fulfilled their obligations on this world in this cycle. So it will retrieve those energies, it will move them to another place where they will once again be tempted in a different cycle on a different world to work towards achieving their path and purpose, work towards achieving their goal. But until then, they are drawn back to that unbalanced energy, to that tempting energy, okay? And so as what's coming to me right now is that's why you will see this unbalanced energy continuing to drive forward in this direction of destruction, because they are drawn to that energy, okay? So as they are drawn to that energy of unbalance, of an unbalanced nature, they are drawing themselves back to temptation. They're drawing themselves back to this low vibration, high frequency energy. And this low vibration, high frequency energy will take them and move them to a different place. So as they drive forward on this agenda, they're doing exactly what's expected. They're doing exactly what the divine expects them to do. And they will not achieve what they are setting out to achieve, because it is not meant to manifest here on this place, on this world. Their intentions are not meant to manifest here on this world. Okay? Every act, word, act, intention that they execute is manifesting another world for them. This energy will remove them from this world and take them to that world. Okay? And they will again begin this cycle again. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else that comes. Oh, beginning when I was clearing my energy, I just saw the earth bright yellow. The earth was bright and yellow like the sun, and then I saw rainbows coming up off of it. And then I saw this energy, temptation, this low vibration, high frequency energy just kind of fall forward and just like squash the earth. It was like this black blob just came in and just landed on the earth and just squashed it. And then all this light and rainbows, but they weren't traditional rainbows, red, orange, yellow, green, it wasn't that traditional. It was that yellow and orange energy that was coming off, like the sun coming off the earth. And I was like, that's an interesting vision. That's what I'm saying to myself. This is actually in my mind's eye. And then, and so what the message was that came to me was that this energy is removing that unbalanced energy from the planet. So again, this came in at the beginning when I was clearing my energy, and removing it. And so as that happens, we'll see a raising of vibration. And so when I think of yellow and orange, I also think of the lower chakras. But the orange is what comes in the strongest, which is, I believe, the sacral. And so that's passion. It's like reigniting our passion. To me right now, there's many meanings for the sacral chakra, but right now to me the strongest meaning is it reigniting our passion. Okay, let me see. I think that's it, but give me just a second. That's it. Thank you.